Good morning everyone, it is now Friday, no it's not, Thursday, week 32, day 3. My sister actually has her 20-week scan today to find out whether or not it's a girl or a boy. They did go for an early scan, which potentially showed the gender, but they weren't 100% confident with the outcome, so they were waiting for today to be 100% sure. But it looks like we may have another little nephew in the family. I'm just waiting to see whether or not that is the result. I'm looking forward to hearing from her today and knowing how the scan went. I'm just out with Baz, who's behind me, don't know if you can see him, but we're on our first walk of the day. I've already been out to see my friend's cats this morning, and we are now on a walk, having a nice stroll through the trails with with one of my dogs. I've got my 2 more this afternoon. I did not sleep well yesterday. I did not sleep well last night at all. The stretches that I did last night did help my hip temporarily, and then as soon as I got into bed, all the pain came back. The pain's been with me all morning, so unfortunately I am struggling a bit today. The pain in my left hip is absolutely annoying as heck, because it's just, depending on what direction my leg is facing, depends on whether or not it hurts, because it's certain angles and certain ways I twist my leg or my ankle or my thigh that is causing the pain, which is stereotypical pelvic girdle pain. Unfortunately, that was Holly to the groin. That was not comfy. It does look like I've definitely got pelvic girdle pain. I've got an appointment with my obstetrician on Monday. I'm going to mention it to them then and see whether or not I can get a confirmed diagnosis or whether or not it is something else. My God, my leg, my thigh, my hip. Oh, if I twist it just slightly wrong, my God, it's like an electric shock goes through the leg or someone stabbed me in the thigh. Other than that, today is looking well. I've got a really quiet, easy day. I've only got my 2 dog walks, but I do think I'm going to get a nap when I get home because I am shattered. I am absolutely exhausted. Well, the lack of sleep last night is not helping. I was really hoping to get a ton of video editing done tonight and maybe some stretching again to try and help my hip and some strength training around my hips, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. I'm just so tired. I'm so tired from the lack of sleep. So we're just going to enjoy this stroll. Have another stroll with the Scotties later today, and then I'm going to get home. I'm going to put myself down for a nap because my God, I need it today. So now out with the Scotties. Minion has had his usual 1 o'clock kickabout, or between 12 and 1 kickabout, so I know he's okay. Hip pain has reduced slightly compared to what it was this morning or earlier on the first walk. Still there, but better than it was. I also did a bit of Googling just to see if I could find specific exercises for pelvic girdle pain, only to find that the exercises it recommends are all the ones I'm already doing, with the exception of a couple of extras, which is side planks, standard planks, and bouncing on a birthing ball. They're the only exercises that I've not incorporated that it recommends to help with pelvic girdle pain. So at least I know I'm doing everything right. I'm doing the right exercises to try and help with the pain. It's just a case of I need to find time and energy to try and do them just a little bit more often, try and help ease the pain even more. On the plus side, having a nice stroll with the boys, taking a similar route to what I did with Baz earlier. Without a doubt, going to be getting a nap when I get home. I'm going to get home, have something to eat, go straight down for a nap, sort all the birds out after I've woke up. I'm just so tired today. I say tired, tired's the wrong word. I'm just so low energy today. So low energy. Oh, it's now nearly 5 o'clock. I've been home for about 2 hours-ish. Had all the birds out, gave them some food, let them have a fly around and a run around and everything else. And not long put the boys upstairs so they can have some chill time and the girls can have some chill time downstairs. And then I got a phone call from my mum and just had a nice chat and a catch up with my mum. I don't chat to my mum nearly enough. I really need to start catching up and chatting with her more. Sorting the birds and chatting with my mum has just taken up all my nap time. And now it's time to feed the birds. And then after I feed the birds, I need to go see my friend's cats one last time. I say one last time. I still need to go visit them tomorrow morning, but this is the last night I'm going to see them. Go see the cats, feed the cats, get home, have more food, and then it'll be too late to nap, because if I nap around then, I will not sleep tonight. I just hope I have a better night's sleep tonight than I did last night. Oh, it's ended up being a really busy day. Really busy day.
Hi. Hi. What are you doing? You're a fuss pot. You're a fuss pot. You've not had enough fusses. You've not had enough fusses while Mum and Dad have been gone. Not enough. Fussy.
Hello guys, so it's actually week 32, day 6. It's our last day of week 32. Week 33 starts tomorrow, which is just now 7 weeks away from Minion's due date, which is just so exciting. A little nerve-wracking, but very exciting at the same time. I'm just out on a walk today. I've got to walk to our local shopping centre, pick up some bits from Asda that we need in the house. Luckily it's a nice day. There's no rain today, which is quite refreshing. It was very wet on Friday. I was very busy on Friday and Saturday to the point where I couldn't do any vlogging. On Friday I got up, I got out, I had to go straight out to go see my friend's cats for their final visit. I then had a load of dogs to walk, and oh my god, I picked the worst time to go on the dog walk. The morning was absolutely beautiful, golden skies, nice clear skies, and then just as I started the dog walk, torrential rain, sheer downpour for the entire hour that I was out with the dogs. The dogs were miserable, I wasn't too happy. The rain actually went through my dry robe. It was so heavy, it went through my dry robe. I was soaked by the end of that walk. And then as soon as we got back to the car, it dried up again. It disappeared. The sun was back and it was shining, and I was just a soggy mess in the car. Then as soon as I got home from work, I had to start tidying and cleaning because my friend Simone was coming to pick up her birds, and so they were going to be out of my hair. Anytime Simone and Vince come over, because we live so far away, we always spend a good few hours catching up, spending time together, chatting. We got some Japanese food in, which was really nice. I had a salmon teriyaki poke bowl, which was lovely. Bear with me 2 seconds, I need to stop recording a sec while I go past a park. Sorry, really like to try and avoid getting kids on camera, because I know the internet can be a bit of a weird and scary place, as I found out through Instagram when I announced that I was pregnant. I got a few creepy messages that I would rather not repeat. I try and avoid public in the background in my videos as it is, but I really try and avoid kids in the videos where I can. Oh, anyway, as I was saying, my friends Simone and Vince ended up staying till about 7 o'clock at night, so that wiped me and Jason out for the rest of the day. So we spent the evening just chilling, relaxing, de-stressing, or relaxing from the birds. And then I came across a bit of a problem. I went to the toilet and I'd had constipation all day. I was desperate for the toilet, but I could not go from a number 2, if you will. And at first I wasn't worried because, you know, it's part of pregnancy. Constipation can happen, especially in the 3rd trimester. But something didn't quite feel right about this constipation. It's like, this doesn't feel like pregnancy constipation. It's like, I've not had pregnancy constipation that much. I've only had it maybe once or twice, but this felt different. This felt painful, and that didn't feel right. So I decided to check myself, let's say that. And it's something I've got into the habit of because of my colitis, is if I'm getting quite bad constipation, just to check to make sure that everything's okay. And when I checked myself, I found that my colon was ever so slightly prolapsing, which is not a good sign. That is usually a sign that there is a blockage. So I washed my hands, I put some gloves on, I made sure I was nice and lubricated, if you will, and I checked myself, and sure enough I had a very large mass of feces stuck at the entrance. And the reason it was stuck was actually because of swelling. I was really badly swollen, which means that I was having a colitis flare-up, which is not a good sign, especially in pregnancy. It can be really bad. And so I did a bit of research again, just to remind myself what can happen with a colitis flare-up during pregnancy. And it can result in baby not growing properly, it can result in baby being too small, it can actually cause me to get infected and ill from cuts and grazes and stuff on the inside of my colon, and then fecal matter passing through to my bloodstream, which can then pass through to baby. An active colitis flare can also cause a miscarriage, which thankfully I'm past the stage of miscarriage, and apparently there isn't a risk of stillbirth. However, it can cause premature birth. That made me a little concerned, the fact that I had a flare-up, and me and Jason were trying to rack our brains as what could have caused it, because we've been so freaking careful to make sure I avoid having any flare-ups whatsoever. And we worked out it's one of potentially 3 things. One being financial stress, because I've been under a lot of financial stress, and stress is one of my biggest triggers. The second thing it could be is physical stress from looking after the birds this last week. The third thing it could be is something I've eaten, which it shouldn't be, because we've been extra careful to make sure that I've avoided all of my allergens. However, it could have been something that we've introduced to my diet in the last week. So we had to think about it, about what foods we've eaten. I've had Japanese food or Japanese takeaway, which I only ever get the salmon teriyaki poke bowl at the moment because it has to be cooked fish and I like it to be very veggie heavy. So salmon teriyaki bowl it can't be, because there's no milk in a salmon teriyaki poke bowl. Quite literally pure salmon, veggies and rice. So it couldn't have been that. And we had to think like, oh, we got malt loaf this week for the first time in a while. And so we checked the malt loaf, and there's no milk in malt loaf. It's actually mostly vegan friendly. And we were racking our brains like, what else could it be? What else could it be? And then I remembered that we got some cereal this week, and I've had some cereal for the first time in a long time. I was like, well, it can't be the cereal, surely. It's cereal. You add the milk to the cereal. That makes no sense. And we obviously get lactose-free milk, so that it doesn't affect me. But we thought we'd give it a try anyway. So we checked the cereal. The Cheerios were fine. Definitely not the Cheerios. The Crunchy Nut was fine. It wasn't the Crunchy Nut. However, Crunchy Nut clusters. Why is it so bright right now? I've just got sunlight in my face. Let me get a little bit more shady. 1 second. We found out that Crunchy Nut clusters actually use milk powder as a binding agent. And even though milk powder has very small amounts of lactose in it, it's enough to potentially have triggered me, because it is pure milk powder, not lactose-free milk powder or soy milk powder. It is milk powder. So there is a high possibility that that could have triggered me as well. Oh, it's starting to rain. At least I'm on my way home. But anyway, that was not nice to know on Friday night that I was having a colitis flare, and I had to do what's known as a manual evacuation, which they don't recommend to do if you're having a colitis flare, because it can cause quite a lot of bleeding, which unfortunately it did. But I needed to clear that blockage, and no amount, I've tried it in the past, no amount of laxatives help because of my condition, and I've actually been advised to avoid laxatives because of my condition. The only option was to try and help it get out of its own accord. That's what I had to do, sadly. And believe me when I say it was very obvious I was having a colitis flare at that point, because there was a lot of blood. Not from baby's fine. There was a lot of blood from my rear end. The heavens just opened. I have a slight downside that I can't physically fasten this coat. I'm too big these days, both in the chest and in the belly, so I'm just having to get wet at this point. But anyway, we think we narrowed down what it was that was causing my flare-up, and I do have an obstetrician. I still can't say that word. The pregnancy doctor. I have an appointment with them on Monday about my colitis. So I'm going to mention that I've had a flare this weekend and see what they say. Hopefully it'll just be a case of let it heal, see how it goes. If it continues, then we might have to look at other options, but hopefully it'll heal itself now that we potentially sorted the cause. But yeah, that was my Friday, and if you don't mind, I'm going to finish this video, or finish this update, a chatty bit, when I get home, because right now I just want to try and avoid the acid reflux. Right now I just want to get home and get dry. Where's it gone? Back home, I'm drenched. I don't know how well you can actually tell, but all this front of me is just wet. Anyway, as I was saying, that was my Friday. Saturday ended up just being just as chaotically busy. So Saturday, one of Jason's younger relatives, I believe it's his cousin's daughter, so his second cousin, had a dance performance. And Jason's mum invited me along. I decided, yeah, why not? We've gone every year to support her, so let's do it again this year. Why not? And then Jason's mum suggested, well, how about we go for a meal beforehand? Just like the two of us have like little ladies' day out sort of thing. Because, like I said, Jason is technically an only child. He did have an adopted sister, but they are no longer in contact with the family, or the adopted sister is no longer in the contact with the family for several different reasons. We're not going to go into it. She thought, come on, let's have a like mum-daughter day out, with me now being her daughter-in-law, she now being my mother-in-law, legally soon, hopefully. So we met up earlier and we went for a meal, and again I had a salmon teriyaki poke bowl because I did check with the servers. There was a really nice looking Scottish salmon on there with salmon caviar and different herbs and spices and a chive sauce, and I had to say to him, like, can I just check, is there any milk in the chive sauce? He said, is it an allergy? I was like, technically yes. And he's like, right, I just do need to make note of that. I'm like, that's fine. I was trying to avoid this palaver. I just wanted to know if it contained milk, but okay. At least you're doing your job and making sure that everything's safe for me. I always feel bad getting the serving staff to have to make note of my allergies. It just feels like such a faff when I can just choose the vegan options, or I can just say, like, can you just check, does this have milk in? Is this safe going to be milk-free sort of thing? Because I can eat fish, I just can't eat milk. I can eat chicken, I just can't eat milk. He checked for me and confirmed, yes, the Scottish salmon does contain milk in the chive sauce, which I was gutted about because I really wanted to try that. It sounded so nice. Hence I ended up having the salmon teriyaki poke bowl because I know there's no milk in that, so all was fine. And it was really lovely. Like, it was very different to the Japanese style poke bowl, because obviously a poke bowl is actually technically an Hawaiian dish that the Japanese have adapted and then several other people have copied. And the one they had at the restaurant was more crunchy. It had more salsa, tomatoes, it had radish, which was unusual, but it was still very, very nice. And it wasn't, unlike the Japanese ones that sometimes have mango and the Hawaiian ones that definitely have mango, this one did not have mango. It was, like I said, more salsa-y, more radishy, but it was still very, very, very nice. How weird is this lighting right now? It's like, because of the time of year, the sun sets really, really low and it sets right into our house. Hence the blinding light right now. Oh, I might have to change the angle slightly just so I don't look quite so washed out. Tiny bit better, but not by much. After our meal and after a nice chat and catch up, we went to watch Jason's second cousin's dance performance. She did really, really well. You can see how she's improved over the years. It's been really lovely, because we always try and go support her every year, and every year she gets better and better, and this year she actually did some singing, which was really cool. Afterwards we went back to Jason's mum's, and me and her did a bit of puzzles and carried on having a chat and a catch up, and I ended up leaving there about 6 o'clock in the evening. By the time I got home I was knackered. I've had 2 days of non-stop socialising, running around and having stuff to do, and it was not easy. Oh, that reminds me, while we were actually at the dance recital, it was the theatre that we have in this town, or like the performing arts centre that we have in this town, is very old. It is very, very old, and to be fair, that actually gives it a nice bit of a rustic charm, but it also means that the seats are tiny and not pregnancy or big lady friendly in any way, shape or form, especially when you've got hips as big as mine. Trying to get into those seats was a squeeze. I actually had to sit slightly sideways, and at one point I actually had to sit on the edge of the chair and slide myself back so my hips were underneath the armrests. That was interesting and a challenge, to say the least. Anyway, back on track. By the time I got home on Saturday, I was knackered, I was exhausted, I was hungry, so I got something to eat. And then me and Jason just chilled for the rest of the night. He played Total War, I played Digimon, and also, did I do any crochet? No, I didn't do any crochet Saturday night. Mainly just played Digimon and grounded up my Digimon. I've got like rookies at level 99 right now, which is the max level on that game, so my Digimon are a little overpowered. Which is fine, because I mainly play it for the collecting of the Digimon. Anyway, I'm going off track. We had a chill night on Saturday just to try and relax after everything that's been going on. I was still suffering from my colitis flare, so I was in a little bit of abdominal pain. I say pain, aching around the hip sort of thing. And then we're on to today, and I've had a busy start to my day. Why do I feel like I've got something on my eyelashes? Woke up this morning, Jason let me have a bit of a lie-in, which was very nice, and it was so nice to wake up without the fruits or the little birds that we were looking after screaming blooming murder at 8 o'clock in the morning. I got up, I focused on video editing because I've not had a video out in nearly a week. So my main priority, look at the light trying to blind me again. So my main priority was just getting a video out and getting it done and edited so that you guys actually had something to watch this week.
which gives you an idea of where I'm up to. So the day where I had like a 7-day break from uploading was because of this week, because I've just been so busy. But all of week 22 is now out. I am working on week 23, which is so nice. So nice. It means I'm 10 weeks behind again, which I was really hoping to be a lot closer by now. I can't help this week. This week has just been a different level of busy. And on the plus side, when I do eventually start maternity in 3 weeks time, less than 3 weeks time actually, I start maternity in less than 3 weeks. I've only got 2.5 weeks left of work. That's it. That is it. That's all I've got left. So when I go on maternity, I can really focus on catching up, which I am very much looking forward to, very excited for. But I will get you guys caught up before the big day. That I do promise. I promise I will get you caught up before the big day. I've still got plans to do a pack my hospital bag with me, nursery prep organisation sort of video, a pregnancy Q&A I want to do, as well as my weekly vlogs. So I want to catch up with my weekly vlogs as soon as possible so I can get those other 3 not so vloggy videos out and actually start making back my old content, which is based more around fitness and calisthenics and less around pregnancy and vlogs. Because as much as as much as I am enjoying this pregnancy journey and I am loving being pregnant, minus the acid reflux. I could do without the acid reflux. I hate the acid reflux. That's the worst part. Pelvic girdle pain is irritating, but it is what it is. But I am loving being pregnant, or should I say I'm enjoying the journey of being pregnant, but I am really getting frustrated with the lack of mobility and strength and how restricting it can be. Not intentionally, like people won't let me do anything. People won't let me lift anything. And it's like, I'm allowed to lift stuff to a certain extent. It's like the whole pregnant people can't lift heavy is a myth. You just have to be careful and only lift to your capacity. Anyway, regardless of that, I've gone completely off tangent again. Woke up this morning, got that video up and edited and out, and then I did need to go Asda, which is where we've been this morning on that walk. I got halfway to Asda while chatting to you guys, did my shopping around Asda, and then halfway back I finished the chat until the heavens opened and I got blasted with rain. And now I've just got home. I've got a load of cleaning I need to do. I need to clean the bathrooms. I need to clean the birds' bedrooms. I need to eat. I really need to eat. I am overdue food right now. So I'm going to make myself something to eat, and then I'm actually going to watch this video. I have blind. Wow. I have mentioned her before. This is Thoili. I can never quite pronounce her name correctly, but this is Thoili. This is Thoili. She has been pregnant around about the same time as me. I think she got pregnant about 2 months before I did. I have mentioned her a couple of times in my other vlogs, and she's just released her birth vlog. Apparently it didn't go well. Apparently she's, according to the title, she's had some issues with the epidural, which just reinforces my desire not to have an epidural. I am going to get some food. I'm going to watch her birth vlog because I've been really excited. Hi. Hi. Jinx has just come to attack me. Madam. So, what? You came to me. Cats. Anyway, I'm going to get something to eat. I'm going to watch her birth vlog. I'm going to get some cleaning done. And then that is my week over. I'm just going to spend the rest of the evening or any spare time I have doing some video editing, chilling. And I've actually got to go to a family meal tonight because the second cousin I mentioned that I went to watch yesterday, it's actually her birthday weekend as well as one of Jason's cousins' birthday weekend. So we're all going for a meal as a family to have a get together and celebrate for them. So I've got a busy rest of the day. So I'm going to leave this video here, guys. Thank you ever so much for watching. I apologise, it's been a bit of a chatty one and I've not had a chance to get much exercise done this week, but work and bird sitting and everything else has unfortunately taken over all of my spare time this week. And I will see you guys in week 33 when I've got 2.5 weeks left till maternity.